sometimes security team, they don't have access to the HANA Studio, HANA level. They don't know how to create the users in the HANA time. So, but HANA security is very important here. Why? To protecting the data. HANA security is protecting the important data from unauthorized access. Because all the finance data, business data stores into HANA database only. So we can ensure our standards, company standards, and follows we are following. So as per the standard adopted by the company, so we are following all the company policies and everything. So and also one more thing is protecting the finance data, important data from unauthorized access. All the business data, your credit card, bank accounts, everything will be stored into the database level, one table. If you give, if unauthorized person, they can view the data and they can theft the data, they can steal the data, something. If they did it, it will be lost to your company only, right? So that's why we need to do the restrictions. So unauthorized access. So that is the main thing here. So this is the to protecting important data from unauthorized access. So we need a security. Definitely user ID password is required. Sir, we are already we are using the system user when connecting. But but if someone done something, then how can I know who is done it? Why? Because everybody are using the system user only. Then it's very typical to find out what went wrong and who did what and everything, right? So that is the reason everybody who are connecting to the systems, either SAP or HANA databases, they should have the individual IDs, so that if one person did something, then that will be noted in somewhere in the logs in the as per audit policies, so that we have the evidences this person is did something like this. So HANA security is very important for everywhere, not only databases, not only applications, in our mobile phones, in our devices, in our computers, laptops, anywhere, the lock is very important. Security is very important, right? So HANA provides a facility like multi-database. So which means, so it's like every, like multi-database means, sir, it's a multi-container. If you have access to the system DB, can I access the tenant database also? No. You should have access to the each and every database. So you should have the access to the each and every database you required here. So SAP HANA provides provides some of the some of the security related feature here. Security related the features here. That is called the user and role management. User and role management. So SAP also we have the role management. With role, even though you have the user, then you cannot access anything in the system. You should have the role. The proper role is required to access the data from the system, right? And also authorization is required here. Authorization is required. To authorization, role is required, authorizations, and also the authentication. These are the security so futures SAP HANA is providing here, right? Authentication. Then we have the encryption of encryption of data layer, data and the network layer here, data and the network layer. So which means, see how many security features we have in the HANA database. So data folder level layer. Suppose if someone hacks your operating system and all the data residing into the data folder level, they can view the password, they can theft the passwords and everything, they can view it, right? So that is also we can encrypt it with data folder encryption. Someone if hack the network, then network layer also they can hack it, right? So that we can encrypt the network layer as well here. So user role management. So there are many cases, many ways the people can hack our systems. So So instead of stealing the data and thefting the data, weaving the confidential data, we can encrypt, we can use the encryption mechanism in our databases. So if you want to access the something in our HANA database, you need a user role authorizations. These many things are required. These many things are required. It's not like that simply you are connecting to the HANA Studio, then you are using the HANA Studio, then you are accessing everything. It's not like that. So since you are using the system user, super user, you are able to access all the functionalities in the HANA database. But when it comes to the real user level, you may not able to access the some functionality, some tabs you may not able to access because of the role and authorization issues here, right? If we have the proper roles and authorizations are there, then you can able to grab the data, you can able to access the data from the systems here, right? So in HANA, we should, if you go to the HANA database here, if you see here, so there is a security tab here. There is a security tab here. In the security tab, so we can create the users. By default, there are the users are there, which are default user. In that we have the system user also there. That is the reason you are able to log in, you are working. But when it is goes to the users, right click and click on the new user. So here we have the username, you can enter whatever the username, you can enter the user. Then in the authentication mechanisms, in the authentication mechanism, that user has to authenticate via password or certificate based SAML2 mechanism or X dot assertion and Kerberos mechanism. There are the multiple authentication methods are there here. Multiple authentication methods are there here. Multiple authentication methods here, right? Multiple authentication methods. So, which means Kerberos mechanism. One is the so Kerberos here. That is the one of the so mechanisms. Log into the Kerberos mechanism here, right? So second one is the user ID password based user ID and password. You can enter the user ID password. Normally, everybody we use the user ID and password method here, right? The next one is the SAML assertion method security. So which means SSO configuration directly they can use the ODBC, JDBC. So sometimes the people will use the SAP the logon tickets. SAP logon tickets here. Sometimes people will use the X.509 method, right? 509 certificates here. So these many authentication methods are there. Once your user is there, how you will you log in? Whether the password you will enter or SAML to SSO configuration, ticket based, certificate based, Kerberos mechanism. So these all are comes under the authentication features here, right? These all are the authentication features here. So normally in the HANA database means all business users will connect to the application only, SAP application only, not the HANA database, right? The HANA database is only for storing the business data. But as a basis consultant, as a technical consultant, we should require access to DB level as well to monitor, to do the administration part. So here in this case, you can use your own passwords. We can create the password based mechanisms like this here, right? We can create the password based mechanism. That is done. Sir, user ID password is there, then can I access everything? See, my ID is created. Then sir, can I access everything from now? So let's see here. You can log in with the Ravi user, then the password which you set, you can set it out, then you can reset the password, right? So now with the Ravi user, you connected. But when you open, you will not able to anything. You don't have the privileges. Sir, user ID is there, right? Password is there, right? Then why I'm unable to access everything here? Why I'm unable to access everything here? Why I'm unable to do everything here? So it's saying that you need a admin privileges. So why unable to do everything here? User ID's password is there, but what about the authorizations? What about the authorizations here? So if any user wants to access something in the HANA database level, this is the HANA database, right? These are the users. If the user is there, but user can only connect to the database, only he can connect to the database. But if we want to open something in the some features in the database, he should have required role or authorizations are required. He should be authorized person. The outers one stranger he came to your home, right? He came to your home, but he should be authorized to enter into your home, right? He should be authorized to touch something, to enter into your home and everything, right? So that is the one. He is able to access the database, but he cannot use any functionalities in the database because of he is not the authorized person. So suppose like if you try to open something, so you cannot edit system. Why? Because you are not authorized, you don't have the authorized permissions and everything, right? So that is the main thing here, right? So here you should have a role, authorizations. You should have a role and everything should be required here. So that is the reason here for user, only user and created. What about the authorizations? What about the authorizations are called the privileges? What about the roles required? So a HANA authorization is required for the user to access something in the database. Depending upon the authorizations provided to the user, he or she can perform the respective database operations on the DB level. So database level, he can perform it here, right? So that is called the authorization is called the privileges. One more word is called the privileges here, which means based upon the privileges you are assigning, the person he or she can perform the respective authorization. This is called the privileges. So he can perform the privileges. Yeah, privileges. Okay. Then normally we will call it as authorizations. We will call it as all. We can also call it as the so privileges here. Right. There the number of privileges are there in the systems here. If you see it here, there is a system privileges, right? So when user try to access something in the system, we should assign the respective privileges. Then only he can access the respective data or respective tab, respective functionalities. Other than that, he cannot access anything. Same as like what the Ravi user is facing the issue now, right? He's only access the database with user ID password, but we have not assigned any authorizations or privileges we have not assigned here, right? So coming to the multiple types of privileges are there in the systems here. One is the so system privileges. System privileges are here. System privileges means it will control the normal system activities here. System level activity. Suppose if you want to perform the backup, license, auditing, so some unit, some export, some import, user creations, roles, so etc, then you should have the system privileges here. Some system level activities you want to do it. Suppose like you want to do the auditors, so you want to perform the backups, so you want to compose like you want to catalog read DB level authorizations. Suppose you want to perform the backup, then backup. So then you want to do something different data admin, monitoring. So then you can assign it, click on the deploy button. Then these roles will be system privileges are assigned to the user, right? So now, just if you open, now if you open administration prompt, you can able to open now. See, the Ravi user now is able to open. Wow, how? So you assigned the required system privileges you assigned here. That is the reason he is able to perform. But he is unable to access the alerts. Why? Because there are no alerts. There is a alert privileges you have not assigned. So there is a privileges which is missing. So you need to assign the some. So alert privileges you have to assign to the user. Then you can able to access the something here, right? See here, insufficient privileges. Insufficient privileges here. Right, so that is the one, that is the one. So without privileges you cannot access. Sir, as of now system user, I used it, I am able to access everything, I am able to delete something, everything I am able to perform now. So this is the security concept. So you should have the respective privileges to access something in the system, right? That is the main thing here. Otherwise you cannot access anything here. So that is the main thing. So apart from that, you have the, suppose these are the system level functionalities. Anything you need the system privileges here. So that is fine. So but sir, I want to some data. Now you cannot access any data in the system. Suppose with Ravi user you connected. Now suppose I want to access some table data. Which table data I want to access here? Nothing, right? No table data. Even I cannot access any table data here. See, insufficient privileges. Sir, even though I have the system access tabs and everything, right? What about the data? Data level access. Then data level access means you have to go for the object privileges. Object privileges you required. So go to the object privileges. Then which object, which table, which schema you require the access here. Suppose there is a jet training HANA yesterday we created. So this table access you required. Select privileges. You want to insert some data. This privileges you required. Then click on the OK button. So this object privileges you assign it to the user. Now with Ravi user, he can able to access the the table. The table name is called he can able to access the jet training table. So previously we are unable to do. Now you are able to access the jet training data. You are able to access. Or how? How means? So you are authorized. One of the admin person, he assigned a one object privileges are called the object privileges are SQL privileges that is used to give the authorizations to read and modify the database objects. Database objects means tables, data, all those things are coming. To access the database objects, user needs access or privileges on the database explorer schema, objects, create, insert, index, whatever he required the access. So sometimes we may get the requirement, one user required the access, but that user only required the access to the only one sales table. Then we have to create the user, then go to the object privileges, then we can provide the only that table access we can provide it. Okay, that is the object privileges. Analytical privileges. Analytical privileges are used to allow the read access. So analytical privileges means, so sometimes developers will develop the so content here. This is the analytical. So sometimes developer will develop the this content privileges and everything here, right? This is the purely for the developers. They will create the packages and everything here. They will create the analytical packages, privileges, and everything. So this analytical privileges, so one more developer, he required the access, then we can assign this analytical privileges to that user. Then he can able to access the data. He can able to access the data. Yeah, that is what we can do that one, right? We can do that one. So analytical privileges. So if any analytical privileges are there in your system, we can assign the analytical privileges by clicking the plus symbol. Then check what is the analytical privilege assigned. Then we can assign this privileges to the user. So then package privilege means, so the package privileges, authorizations, packages. So these are also development. So the developers will create the some analytical privileges, package privileges, they will create it. So they will create the some package, that package need access to someone, then you need to assign that package privileges to that user, then that user can access only that package only. So if the user is required access to the database table level, then object privileges. Some analytics he required, then some packages he required, then packages required here. So which means whatever user requirement, we can assign it here. Right? The application privileges are like a HANA access related applications and everything. If anything he developed, those are comes under the application privileges here. Editor, security trace, or anything, those privileges we can assign to the user here. Right? We can assign to the user here. Package privileges on user means user details. Which user has this privileges, like that, we can assign the users here. So here, the authorization perspective, we have the types of authorizations. Either if a user is required the system privileges, then we can assign the system privileges, object privileges, object analytical, whatever he required based upon his requirement, we can assign the required privileges, we can assign to the users, right? These are the authorization privileges here, right? So this is the privileges. And also roles also we have here, roles, which means all these things we can merge into the one role. We can directly, we can assign the role to the user. So there is a predefined roles are there. Just we can assign the roles. The user can able to do something in as per the role. He can able to do it here. So we can also create the roles by going to the security roles concept, right click and click on the new role. Suppose we can also use the standard roles which is provided by SAP. Then custom roles also we can create it Z underscore basis admin person. So which means basis admin person required the role. Then is part of what type of privileges is required. Means all the privileges you are assigning to the one role. Then instead of you are doing multiple times, you are assigning all the things to the user. Instead of multiple things, you are assigning one user, you are assigning multiple things. One user, you are spending the 5 minutes to assign the system privileges, object privileges, analytical privileges, all those things. But all those things you can merge into the one role. Directly, you can assign this role to the user. So then you can able to perform his own things, right? So that is the role concept here. Role contains the all privileges, authorizations, and everything here. So role contains the all the information here, right? Maybe we can assign the suppose like backup and catalog read. So monitor, whatever the role you can just assign to the user, you can able to perform the respective things here, tables, whatever you can assign it, then you can create the role. Then role has been created. So tomorrow, next time when you are creating the user, you no need to assign all those things here. Just you are creating the Ravi one user means, so just set the password here. Just to assign the roles, that's it. Whatever the role you created, just assign the role, save it. Just one attempt. Means in advance, in advance, we have to create the roles. We have to keep it ready. Basis these roles, security these roles, developer these roles, multiple roles. We have to keep it create and ready. Then whenever user starts, then we can assign the all the things to the users. This way, so direct generally we can means all these things we can merge into the one role. Then that role directly you can assign to the user. Then user is able to perform the operations. Like that, we can create the users and roles here. Right? You see here, when you are creating the user here, so you have new user or restricted user here. Right? So we have a to access the HANA database, users are required depending upon the security policies. So there are two types of users in the HANA database. One is the technical user. We means our DBA administrator user. We will directly work in the system then perform the all the operations and everything we will perform it. And second one is the real users, business users. Sometimes business users who wants to work in the HANA database need a database user, real person. So we are the admin team. We need access to monitor and all those things. But real user, they don't require access to all those things. You know, only access required to the applications, whatever you develop, that application that time. So we can use it here. So standard user, restricted users, there the users types are there. So we can create it here. Technical users and everything, we can create it here. So this is the way we can create the users and we can assign the roles to the users, and so we can log in. So going forward, use the system user, use the system user, create your own user, then log off from the system user, use your own user. So that in this way, then you will come to know, now you see, you will come to know how many users are logging here. See here, now it is increased, the sessions are increased. Previously, very less sessions are increased. Why? Because multiple users you created. See, so application user, all are using the system user only. But only now Ravi user is opened multiple things here, right? Now you will come to know while part of the troubleshooting, what is the IP address he logged in, what is the client host he logged in, what is the IP, how many queries he fetched it out, what is the data size, each and everything you can come to know here. Then in this way, you will come to know, okay, which user is active and he is doing something in the system, right? This kind of things you may get it out here. So that is the reason. Anyhow, you are logging with your own user, right? Application user is your own user you are connecting. This is my user administrator. So you are connecting your own user. But even though database are also user, also your own user, then we will come to know what exactly you are doing and what is the load and who is causing the issues and everything. It will be displayed here, right? So this is the way, right? So apart from that, here you can see the some security standard security folder is there here. Here we can enable the some auditing, enabling, we can enable the auditing here. Suppose as of now someone deleting something and we are not sure who is doing what. But if you enable the audit policies, then if you just enable the audit policies here, so then we will come to know who is doing what and everything here, right? User policy. So then here, what are the auditing actions he has to? Suppose sometimes all the actions I want to record it here in the one case here. Then so either success or all. So everything should be recorded. All, everything. So then which are the users? Which are the users here? So I want to record Ravi user, Ravi one user, system user. I want to record all these users. So what will happen now? I have created a one audit policy, which means all the actions in the database level, if any one of the user deleted something trying to delete it, so then immediately your action will be whatever you have done it, everything will be locked into the into the log file. So that something is deleted, then I have the evidences, right? Then I can find out which user is deleted and everything. I have the so record now, so that I can perform it. This is called the audit policies. HANA audit policies. You can create the policies. So then which actions you want to record that policies, then you can see, suppose like sometimes user, they will data definition, something backup deletions, which one license deletions, sometimes HANA user deletion, someone will delete the users, user creations, create the user. I want to record all the things here, drop the user, create the user. Some people will do like this, entire user management I want to record it here, right? Either successful message, all. Then which users? All the users. Then you need to report the all the users here, right? Then save it. Then now all the users, now there is a error creating, right? Why? Because since I selected the all the users, it's not required. Just only so all the selected users, I will select it here. Yes. So now it changed here. So because system user system audit policies I have enabled, so that is the reason it's giving the error. Now, so now onwards, if you guys create any user, that will be recorded. If you guys delete any user, something you deleted, that will be recorded in the database level. So now I have the evidences. Then I can point out. So you have done something in the database level. So your user access has been restricted. So like that. So in the business systems, especially in the banking sector systems, so they will enable the auditing. So this audit they will do in the yearly ones. They will open and they will see what are the critical actions are performed by the users. This kind of things will be done. So careful when you are working in the banking sector systems and the databases. So you are each and every your action will be recorded in the somewhere. So that is the very important. So it will be recorded in the somewhere. Then tomorrow you will be point of contact. So that is the reason. So carefully when you are deleting something, you need to check. When you are doing something, you need to cross check in each and everything here. Auditing. So password policy. Password policy means sometimes some organizations they will keep the minimum password length is 8 characters, uppercase, special character, something you should be required. So those things, and also you should not use last 5 used password, 7 used password, something like that. There is a length. Also, some people in the they will keep the some country names in their passwords. So I'm blacklisting those passwords. So you should not use those blacklisted passwords here. Some people they will use the so some different names, words. So something they will use it, known words, easily recognizable words. So those passwords we can blacklisted. So that means people they cannot put this this word as a password in the their password list here. When they are resetting the password, they cannot put this password. So like that we can restrict the password blacklisted also. Some example in the banking sector systems especially, they have password length is minimum 12 characters, right? Something like that. And they should not use the last 5 used password. They should not use it. And if the password expiry, if the password expired, if they don't use the password in 2 days, they don't reset the password in the 24 hours or 48 hours, then immediately their user will be locked status. So like that we will set the passwords, right? So here it is the place we will set the password policies and everything here, right? This is the case here, right? This is the different and data volume encryption. You can also encrypt the data volume so that your data volume will be encrypted. Data volume means your index server data volume will be encrypted. So all the data which is there in the encrypted. Encrypted means if any confidential passwords or anything that is in the binary code format, machine learning format, so that we cannot read it. System can read that password. So the hackers or someone they cannot to open your system, they cannot view the passwords. So because that is the encrypted mode. So these are the security related features in the HANA. Okay. So this is policies are very important, audit policies. So that is the main thing here. And minimum length, blacklisted passwords. So how we want to, as per your organizational policy, how we want to define the password length, characters and everything that you can define it. Okay. That is the security users creation, everything. So what I request is everybody, so please create your own users. Please create your own users in the system so that so in the database user column, all the users will be displayed. It's not only my user, everybody users listed. So now see everybody. So even every user, every application user, they are using the system user only. If someone done, then how can I know who done what? Right? So that is the main thing here. So what I request is, so this is the load. See, actual load, how many 30 sessions are open, 34 sessions are opened here, right? 34 sessions are opened. Then, so actual load will come into the place now in the database level, right? So that is the main thing here. Now you need to monitor the database, how the database is behaving and everything, right? This is the case. So please create your own users, log in with your own user to practice it. And just even though the security roles topic is not in our topic, security team, but it's very simple. So we can also, if someone asks you, did you work on the HANA security? Yes. So something like that we can tell. Okay. Any questions, anyone?
Sir, can we check that audit log
Yeah,
where it
log
is
we can
recorded?
check it out. Yes, yes, log we can check it out. Maybe it's in the somewhere in the diagnosis files only. Yeah, we can check it out. Maybe it's recorded or not recorded. So we can check it out, audit log policies. So we can file also will be created. So yeah, you can see system user, application administrator to this IP, to this port. He done the something in the system. So yeah, but there is a separate log file also will be generated auditing. Yes, we can check it out. But where is that log file database table is there? Audit table. Yeah, we can create the directory, separate directory. There is a parameter, I think, audit parameter. So that changes we can do that one. Audit policy enable to true, state true, minimum retention, and audit trial path. See, path we can define it. So path means where we have to define the path. So /temp USR SAP SID SAP then HDB SAP SID then HDB instance number then okay, we can create the one folder audit, then all the log files we can store it there. So audit log files, trial type, audit, default audit trial type here, ethical type. Yes, if you change this parameter, so that will be recorded somewhere. Yes, we can change that one. That's possible. So everything will be recorded, everything at OS level that will be stored. Okay. So any other questions, anyone?
So
Okay.
what is that Kerberos mechanism?
Kerberos mechanism is the one of the Kerberos file. So that is the different approach in the SAP and HANA database as Kerberos mechanism, which means to log into. So you are logged into the SAP system without user, means without user ID and without password. You can log into the your SAP system. You can access it multiple times, multiple places. You are entering the password. But if you configure the Kerberos mechanism or SAML2 mechanisms, you no need to enter the password. Automatically, you will be logged into the, you will able to access the data. This is called the SAML2 mechanisms or Kerberos mechanisms. There is a separate procedures. So separate procedures and separate methods, and we need to purchase the licensing and everything for that one. Same as like AD authentications we have, right? That kind of things.
Yes.